Hello, hello, hello. So today, me and SAT Score are going to be going over the top 5 coal ships to get before they go up in prices. So if you guys haven't heard, the armory prices for coal ships, steel ships, and doubloon ships are going to be going up or down in prices depending upon the ship. So the ships we're going to be talking about today are the tier 10s that'll be going up in price for coal ships that we'd recommend you getting before this change. So this is going to be in no particular order, and of course there'll be honorable mentions. So to start us off, the Marceau. The Marceau is a very versatile tier 10 French destroyer that is in the armory for coal. It has a coal bearer guns with a very incredible speed, one of the fastest ships in the game, with decent to strong anti-air with DFAA. It has an engine boost, regular DCP. It has 9-kilometer torpedoes with 127 millimeter guns. Now this ship is more, well, you can say the Kleber is their Kleber and the Marceau are pretty much, they have a very similar role. But the Marceau is more of the shotgun of the two, while the Kleber is more of the long range farmer. So Marceau is more of a DD hunter slash smidge, the close range farmer, while the Kleber is meant to be more mid to long range. So if you want a Kleber that's more meant to be closer range, then I think the Marceau would be a great fit for you. What would your thoughts be on the Marceau, their SAT?
So they may share the same hull, but their guns makes alone just gives them a different play style. Also, Marceau has a notably much lower surface detection of 7.0,
Mm-hmm.
so she can do some destroyer ambushing shenanigans that Kleber cannot do. So the main problem with the Marceau is that although she has much better DPM, her ballistics are not very good. So she still has to get in fairly close to hit enemy destroyers.
Mm-hmm.
But she also does better farming battleships just because her inferior ballistics are not as bad, or at least don't matter as much. But just like the Kleber, she's a lot of fun, and it is very satisfying when you're just sitting in front of a battleship at 10, 11 kilometers, shooting him, lighting 500 fires, while he struggles to hit you once every 30 seconds.
Yeah, it is a lot
And
of fun for sure.
yeah, and I recommend getting Marceau now just because she is heavily going up in price. According to the spreadsheet or so, she is in her current state, she's expected to go up by about 10% in terms of cost. So an extra 24,000 coal. And that is a lot of coal that you could be spending on something else. Like, that's literally a free upgrade right there, too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So definitely recommend the Marceau. Moving on, the next ship is going to be a wide favorite of WoW's. Is going to be the Italian Petro, the Napoli. So the Napoli is one of the tankiest tier 10 cruisers in the game. Has a very annoying spaced armor around the side that kind of protects the citadel. To be able to citadel a Napoli, you have to hit around the rear turret. But yeah, it's kind of like a Gulf Void where shells enter, but they never seem to find the citadel. It's pretty weird, but also hilarious. The Napoli is known for its secondary gimmick of having the exhaust smoke with the fighter spotting, with its strong AP pen, with its weak HE. It does have torpedoes, which are really nice with 13.5-kilometer range. So if you're kiting away, you can use it as a way of a deterrent to hit people or cause flooding, and then you can use your HE to do fires. The Napoli does have SAP secondaries that go out to 11 kilometers, which is insanely far. So what a lot of people like to do is they like to push in with the Napoli into that secondary range. When they're about to take, or they are taking a lot of fire, they'll use that exhaust smoke to go dark, and then they'll use their fighter to spot for them as they're turning out and going away to get outside of their concealment and the secondary range so they can go dark. When you build into the Napoli, its secondary range its concealment goes to about 10.5, I believe, while its secondaries are to 11. So you can technically stealth activate your secondaries where they enter your secondary range and you'll get spotted because of that. So you can use that to your great advantage, or you can just go more DPM if you like for the Napoli. But overall, the Napoli is a very fun brawling cruiser that's very tanky, has a lot of utility up its sleeve to have fun in matches and brawls, randoms, and ranked. In all of those modes, it does exceedingly well. What are your thoughts on the Napoli SAT?
She has probably one of the most unique playstyles of any cruiser in the game. As Bo said, you can literally run up to people, spoon them to death with your sap secondaries, and turn away in smoke and be mostly unharmed. The main issue is that she just doesn't do well past secondary range. Her guns are not very hard hitting, and they're also somewhat inaccurate.
Mm-hmm.
But under 11 kilometers, oh my gosh, she will just tear everything apart. And she is also quite durable outside of smoke, so there's a big reason why she is commonly banned or restricted in clan battles. And if allowed, teams will take her into King of the Seas and other competitive format. So definitely a very fun playstyle if you want a cruiser that doesn't explode and you just want to get up into people's face.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving on from the legendary Napoli, we're going to be moving more to a more American cruiser. It is going to be the Salem. Everyone is used to the Des Moines. The Salem is the coal version that is inside of the armory. The Salem has pretty much identical stats to the Des Moines, but instead of it having a 10-kilometer radar, it has an 8.5-kilometer radar instead, and you'd have DFAA instead of Hydro. So you can only pick radar or Hydro on this ship, and you can only have DFAA. You cannot pick off of it. The ship does have a super heal, while the Des Moines does have a regular heal. So this ship overall is more tanky than the Des Moines, which means you can play a little bit more aggressive in this ship if you'd like, while the Des Moines may have to sit a little bit more back. You can use that super heal to tank a little bit longer in situations and have a little bit fun with that as well. But the Salem has amazing guns, with the 203 millimeter guns with a 5.5-second reload. Great HE for fire starting and just flat out just farming anything that's in front of it. And it has the special AP of the heavy American cruisers with the improved ricochet angles. So you will be just doing massive chunks on cruisers and battleships alike when they're closer to you. So you'll be making them suffer, and you'll just be just laughing as you watch them panicking, trying to survive while you just melt them, knock out their guns, and just make them sit there as you farm them out. But what are your thoughts on the Salem SAT?
If you can play Des Moines, then you can play Salem, no problem.
Yep.
They're very similar to each other, having the same firepower, same hull, but Salem crucially is different in that she has a super heal and that she loses a lot of utility as well. So radar is kind of a formality here since you only get 8.5 kilometers radar. It's only 1.5 kilometers less, but that is a big difference when destroyers are trying to spot you. That means there's a lot less ground you can cover, and that also means that some islands that Des Moines can just hide behind and cover entire caps, Salem cannot do. But otherwise, Salem is still a very, very good ship, and she actually excels more in direct combat because of that super heal. Whereas Des Moines will only get one heal off, and then where basically Des Moines can't heal as efficiently, Salem can comfortably get down to 20, even 10k before she pops her first heal and then roars back to life. And you get to abuse your adrenaline rush bonus all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
It's But just remember, you probably won't be able to use your second or third heal very efficiently. But otherwise, Salem is a very fun ship. If you are able to flank, if you're able to get in close and or flank an entire team, you have the firepower to just dismantle everyone before they can do something about it.
Yep. Thank you, SAT Score, for the Salem review on that one. So the next ship is going to be number 4 on the list, and let me know what you guys think of this list so far. But the next ship is going to be the Tromp. If you like the Dutch cruisers, then the Dutch destroyer, the Tromp, is going to be the ship for you. This ship has decent guns with a 4.6 second reload. You do get 6 of them, and you do get torpedoes as well that have a 12-kilometer range and have a 70-second reload. What makes this ship the special is due to its 2 airstrikes that have a 12-kilometer range and a 48-second reload. Now, you can build into them to get them better than the build that's shown here, but you also can use the legendary commander, which is amazing, and it makes the ring get from 2 drops to 3 drops, which is a lot of fun for sure. The airstrikes are a little bit difficult to hit, but after maybe 5 or 6 battles, you'll get used to how they aim, and you'll be pretty much just perma firing cruisers, battleships, you name it. They'll be suffering as you get perma fires on them and do a massive amount of damage. These bombs do have a 20-millimeter pen, so if they hit superstructure, they're going to be doing damage. So on light cruisers, you'll be doing massive salvos on them with these bombs. On heavier cruisers and battleships, you'll just be doing damage to the superstructure and starting a lot of fires, because these bombs have a 23% fire chance per bomb, by the way. Per bomb. So if they are off of DCP, you're pretty much guaranteed to set a fire when using these bombs. So fire starting machine is what this ship is. But overall, Tromp's a lot of fun to play. It's not the most versatile in its play style, but overall it's just a really fun destroyer to play. What do you think of the Tromp SAT? Why did you put this on this list?
And not only is she fun, as you said, but her playstyle is super unique compared to any other destroyer.
Mm-hmm.
That airstrike alone just makes it super interesting. So compared to the other Dutch cruisers like the Utrecht and the Gordon Tromp's destroyer, Tromp being a destroyer and having 5.8 concealment lets her position just about anywhere on the map. And that allows her 12-kilometer airstrike to hit just about any ship she feels like. Granted, their penetration's not very high, so you're mostly relegated to starting fires. But that unparalleled positioning ability allows for some really nasty airstrikes from unexpected angles.
Mm-hmm.
And she's no slouch in destroyer combat either. Her guns have pretty good ballistics, and she can throw out torps that do actually hit every once in a while. But she's still a bit hard to play just because she doesn't have smoke and she doesn't have any speed boost to get her out of situations. She basically has no defensive tools at her disposal, so you have to be really careful on how you choose your fights.
She does have the emergency engine power, which does give a 25% engine boost. So it's really nice in situations where you're entering a gunfight. You can use that to dodge and weave and then move or escape if you need to. But like SATs were said, when you don't have that engine boost up, it's going to be really painful to do destroyer fights. So it's best to normally do destroyer fights when you have that emergency engine power boost available. If it's not available, be a little bit passive, kind of wait for it to come back, because it's not that maneuverable with that engine boost. But carry on, SAT. It also has the FAA as well, which is really nice against CVs. But unfortunately, the anti-air is pretty short at 3.5, so
Yeah, I don't even count it because it's just not that effective.
Mm-hmm.
As for the speed boost, it's nice, but the problem is I feel like it doesn't add enough to the Tromp. The Tromp is still decently big and easy to hit if you're in destroyer fight. It is very useful when you're at longer ranges and just pelting enemy cruisers or battleships with your guns. Gives you more time, gives you a better chance at dodging while you land your airstrikes and follow up with guns. So if you want a truly unique destroyer playstyle, then I would recommend getting a Trump now because she is going up heavily in price.
Yep. So before we go to the final top 5 ship, we have 2 honorable mentions. And I want you guys to write down what you think they are going to be. I first have to find the destroyer. It is the Bliss Wika. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. But SAT score, I want you to tell me about this one because I kind of forgot about what this ship's about.
So Boyskvitsa is actually a very old ship. She's probably been around for about 6-7 years now. She's most known. She's a very famous Polish ship that
Hmm.
has quite a bit of history behind her. So Wargaming released her as a Tier 7 premium. She actually is not that unique in terms of playstyle. She's closer to what Grom is today, and then back then what the Russian destroyers used to be. But the reason she's on this list is because she is the biggest loser in terms of the price changes.
Oh, God.
Right now, she's about 50,000 coal, but if you're interested in her for whatever reason, like you're interested in your history, you're a Pole, and you just have to have a Polish ship, Boyskovica is literally going up by about 50% cost,
Ooh.
which is by far the worst price change. So if you want her, or you just have her camo and just want to see it, then you better get the Boyskovica now.
Hmm. But yeah, thank you for that, SAT. Now, the final honorable mention before we talk about the final top 5 is going to be the legendary Moskva. The Moskva with its unique module, the extended main battery effective range, is one of the strongest tier 10 competitive ships in World of Warships. This thing has been in COTS, this thing has been in pretty much any turdy that's allowed in clan battles. If it's competitive, the Moskva is going to be in it. It is very tanky bow in, very slender, very hard to hit when it's straight bow in, and the guns are laser pointers. If you are being radared by this thing, you are going to be slapped by this thing. The HE hits very hard with a very nice fire chance, and the AP also has a lot of pen and will do a lot of damage to battleships, cruisers alike. It doesn't matter what you are, it's going to do a lot of damage no matter what it is. And the fact that it's a very strong bow in island sitting ship, it does very well in competitive play styles where you're trying to hold a cap or push up with a cap with other ships. So the Moskva overall does very well in those scenarios. What scenarios it doesn't do well in is when it has to show its side a lot. So normally, people love to dev strike this ship where people are turning out in randoms or they're just not paying attention at the start of the match. And you'll see Amasa just get dev struck from across the map by a battleship that just licked its chops and saw this ship going broadside. So if you are going to play this ship, you either sit bow in or you kite out early enough to where you're not going to get dev struck early. So pretty much play this ship like it's a battleship and you'll do perfectly fine. And what are your thoughts on this ship, SAT?
You pretty much covered the competitive reason for getting Moskva. If there is a competitive scene at tier 10, Moskva is almost always there. As for randoms though, as you said, her broadside is notoriously weak. If you're a battleship and you don't get a citadel, that is considered bad luck. And also combined with Moskva's 14, somewhere around 14.1 surface detection, it is really hard for her to reposition.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she can get to an island, she can sit there and tank for a while, but once she's there, it is pretty hard to get her out of there if there's something spotting her. because one battleship salvo at the wrong time equals goodbye Moskva.
Hmm.
Now, the reason why I think she's more of an honorable mention than a recommend list is because there's already the Stalingrad and the Petro, which is kind of similar, kind of half similar to the Moskva. Petro is a pretty notorious competitive ship, even stronger than Moskva because she just refuses to die.
Hmm.
On top of being a tech tree ship, having amazing AP guns for a cruiser. Stalingrad is a steel ship that also is very similar to the Moskva hull and also has similar weaknesses, but also has the battlecruiser guns, which lets their Citadel battleships at surprisingly long distance. So, because Moskva is very similar to both ships, if you're not too interested, if you already have either ship, then and you're not really playing competitive all too much, then Moskva is kind of a harder sell, even though she's a solid ship on her own right.
But yep, thank you SAT for that. So the final ship in this top 5, unfortunately, god dang it, it's the stupid U-45 again. This
Yep.
damn thing. I hate recommending this stupid thing, but it is legit one of the most broken ships in the game. It is incredibly fast underwater, going 37.8 knots. It goes up a little bit more if you have the flag. Sorry, the flag is 37.8 knots, but it is insanely fast underwater at 30 meters and 60-meter depth. So what a lot of people do is they just go up the 1 line or the 10 line or middle, and those W across to the other side of the map on the enemy side of the map, and they will go to periscope depth, and they will just start launching and throwing their torpedoes everywhere. This thing also has an insane concealment of 5.4 kilometers when it's on the surface. So it's tied with some of the stealthiest destroyers in the game for concealment. So this thing can go underwater, go as fast as a lot of destroyers without being detected. It has 10 torpedoes, by the way. 10. 4 in the front, 6 in the rear. And the 6 in the rear is just an insult to injury, because if you are in front of a battleship and you're running away from it, like as it is sub, that battleship can't even outrun you. You're gonna be able to stay in front of it and just keep pinging it and hitting the torpedoes over and over and over again. The only main weakness of this ship is the fact that on the surface, it's 21 knots. So it's only quick on the 30 and 60 depth, while at the periscope and surface, it's very slow. And that is the only way you're able to really catch this thing. This thing also does turn on a dime, a 310 meter turning radius, by the way. Literally can turn on a dime. So it's very hard to hit if you don't know how to effectively aim with this ship. So, but this thing goes in a straight line. It's also very hard to hit as well. But yeah, the U-45 is one of the most broken ships in the game. Still don't know why they added it, but oh well. Here we are. But the ship also has a lot of utility as well. It has a heal when it's on the surface. It has the reserve battery, so you can stay underwater. Like, what's the maximum time it can stay underwater? If you build into it all the way, it's like 7 minutes or something like that. 6.5 or something. If you build into it all the way, it's like an insane amount of battery time. Along with the reserve battery. So it's in total, it's like 6 to 7 minutes, which is an insanely long time for something to be able to stay underwater. You do get some marine surveillance, which is really nice too, and you get the hydrophone that goes out to 8 kilometers. So while you're going underwater and you're going to the enemy side of the map, you can use the hydrophone to know if someone's too close to you to surface or go to periscope. So just makes this ship incredibly strong and OP and just very oppressive. You just want to go out and troll the server. This is the ship that you do it in.
Unfortunately, like as much as we don't want to recommend, this is more of an we still have to objectively include her because she is considered one of the best subs around, and she is going up in price. So if you want to learn how to be a sub main, or if you just want to troll people because you had a really bad day, then yeah, 4501 is one of the easiest way to do it. Because when played correctly, you are almost unhittable with that 40 knot underwater speed.
Hmm.
Anyone trying to push into you just dies because you can ping them over and over, but they can't hit you in return.
Yeah, it is incredibly strong. But yep, that is going to be the top 5 ships to get now before the price goes up. The armory change will be happening. When is it happening? Is it in July? Is when it's happening?
I believe they said 14.6 for the changes.
Okay, we're on 14.5 at the moment, so
Yeah, so it's about roughly a month from this
from this video.
video.
All right. So thank you so much, SAT Score, for your time. I do appreciate it. And make sure you guys leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Also, if you guys want to see any of these ships being played on, well, live, I do stream at twitch.tv/overlordbo. I play a lot of the new ships that are coming out and play them with viewer requests. So if you guys want to see that or just have a good time with the community, check me out over there. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.